अच्छा भाई, let's begin our today's lecture. Today's lecture is about forecasting. Let me tell you, forecasting is a very, very important concept. And why is it important? It's important because it will be used in multiple courses of yours. For example, it is part of your marketing, it is part of your supply chain management course, it is part of your operation management course, and it can be used in your entrepreneur course as well. So forecasting is very, very important. And you see, we as a nation are surviving and struggling because of the wrong forecasting of energy. You see, energy consumption has wrongly forecasted, and because of that we are paying the heavy bills because of that. So forecasting is very, very important, and it has a long-term impact on anyone's life. Either it's a customer, either it's a company, or anyone else. So if your forecasting is wrong, then you will be suffered. For example, if the weather forecasting is not correct, then you cannot depend on that. Okay? You cannot depend on that at all. And if it is correct, you can heavily dependent on that, and you can plan your day accordingly, you can plan your week accordingly. So you see, forecasting helps individual and a businessman alike. So we need to look at the forecasting in a broader perspective, that how forecasting is critically important to us. We begin the forecasting, that is chapter number 4 of a J. Hazer book, Hazer Render book, Principles of Management. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, what we will be covering? We will be covering about Disney World. Disney World is, we all know about Disney World. Disney World is basically one of the top entertainment company in the world. Okay? And how they manage their activity. They are using the state-of-the-art technology, and how they are managing their resources well. How come their productivity is at par? It's a very difficult one, because they have a very long facility spread it in the miles, many miles. So how could they efficiently manage is a case study. So in the beginning of your chapter, the Disney World case study is given. So I recommend every one of you that read it out at your home and learn from it. I will be referring multiple times about the Disney World and telling you. For example, I would like to start the Disney World concept, that CEO of the Disney World always look at the forecast and the last day outcome, because the forecast is for every day. So the CEO of the company look at the forecast of yesterday and what was the outcome. Okay? For example, 4,000 people were expected with the forecast. How many people arrived? 3,900, 3,950. How many? Okay. Likewise, the facility wise, there are different facilities, different theme parks. So you see, the CEO is looking at the facility wise, the theme parks wise, the consumption of the customers. So basically, through the forecast, the CEO get to know that how well the resources are utilized. If your forecast is good, what can any company achieve, like a Disney World? Any idea? If the forecasting is good, you know how many number of the people are coming to your Disney World. So any idea what benefit could you as a Disney World employee can get? Any idea? Any benefit? Any idea? If you know the number, that how many people are coming, can you get any benefit? Yes. If yes, then what?
Yes, sir, you can make preparation according to the number.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. You get to know that how many people are coming. If you know exactly, somehow, for example, 4,000 is expected and 3,950 has arrived. So that is a pretty well forecasting. So you see, the 3,950 people have come and you managed your resources very well. because you already knew that these people are coming. If you would not know how many people are coming, can you utilize your resources at your best? Very important point, that if you know how many customers are availing your services and at what time they are coming, especially at what time they are coming, at what theme park they are coming, okay, so then you are able to make a decision. For example, a decision could be that, for example, in Disney World there are 10 doors through which the customers can get in. So what you do, you plan the opening of the doors, you plan the timing of the Disney World accordingly. For example, the people are coming unprecedentedly, there are so many people are coming to your Disney World. For example, it has never happened that more than 10,000 people has arrived in the Disney World, for example. So what would you do? So the point is, how would you manage that at your best? Since you are a premium entertainer, you are known for the lifetime experience, so you have to provide that. People are spending many dollars only to get that experience. So how can you provide that experience? You cannot compromise on their experience. What you do, you start Disney World activities before time and you communicate that there is a discount if you come early bird discount. So people start coming in before time, that is 9 o'clock is your time, people start pouring in at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock as per your wish. Now you see, you have managed the crowd. When there is a less crowd, it is more easy to manage, way convenient to manage. So that's how the things manage. And there are times when you close the park when it is crowded. When you are at par the capacity, you close that particular theme park so that no customer of yours get the bad experience. Very important. You cannot compromise on the experience of your customer, because it's a lifetime experience. People go once in life, especially the elders people, not very young, the kids. I'm talking about the people who are adults basically. So they have come only for lifetime experience. They will not come again, and they will be a word of mouth for your Disney World. So what I mean to say, when you give a premium services, when you charge premium, it is your responsibility to give the best service. The same you can apply to the Dream World in the Pakistani context. In the Dream World, you see, when Iqra University or any university would plan to go over there, and there are so many students, so they can plan accordingly. So you see, if you know how many people are coming, there are a lot you can do. But it is very, very important that you know precisely. This is what we are studying. We are studying forecasting so that we know exactly, almost close to the number, to the actual. Actual means what the exact number you get. Okay. Forecasting is, results are compromised, are little deviated when it is of short term. For example, if you talk about tomorrow, there is a better forecasting. If you talk about after a month, it is less better forecasting. It is not that much better. When you talk about after a year, it is not as better as the 1 month. There is a high chance of error. There is a high chance of deviance. When you talk about after 10 years, there is a large chance of deviance. Get my point? When you are close to the time frame, the forecasting is much better. So the CEO of any company is interested in the short-term forecasting. They are not interested in the year, how many people are coming. They are interested how many people are coming tomorrow. When we talk about the short term, that is a day or two, there must not be more than 1% chance of error. There must not be more than 1% error. For example, 100 people are coming, so 99 people must come as per the correct forecasting. If your forecasting are not correct, it means there is something wrong with your formulation, with your process, with your formulation. So you need to look at how well you can take out the forecasting. Okay? So in this chapter, inshallah, we will be learning many methods of forecasting. Okay, so it's over you that what kind of forecasting you apply, in what scenario, and how much better results you require. Okay, and it also depends upon the data you have. It's very important. How much data do you have? For example, Disney World started, when the Disney World started, for example, 100 years back. So they had no data at all, no data. So when they had no data, so how come they forecasted very well? This is a challenging one. So I will be teaching you that when some business start, its first day, its first month, when the product launch very first time, then how they can better forecast it, and what is the method. So I will be telling you the methodology, the method to get the better forecasted results when you have no data or a little data. Okay. Okay, I just talked about the Disney World, so I also recommended you to read the Disney World case, which is available in your book, chapter number 4, the first page of the chapter number 4. I guess 2 pages are there of Disney World. I highly recommend you to read that case. Okay, I will be telling you what is forecasting. Okay, the definition of forecasting is very important. Okay. Okay, please note it down that I will be giving you theory in your upcoming quizzes. As Taimur was talking about, yes sir, what would you give in the quizzes? In the quizzes, my plan is total theory. There is no numerical at all. Okay, many times I already told you, but I am telling you again, time and again, that there will be no numerical. Numericals would be coming in your final exam. Okay. You see what is forecasting. So this definition is also important for your assessment. Forecasting time horizons. Horizon means time period. Forecasting time periods. The influence of product life cycle. Product life cycle. What is the influence of product life cycle? Okay, on the forecasting. So it's pretty important point because every product has a life cycle. Okay? So we need to consider the life cycle. If we consider the life cycle well, then only we can take out the forecasting results better. And we'll be discussing about the type of forecast next. There are different types of forecast. Yes?
How can we measure the product life cycle?
Measure product life cycle. I will be discussing, this is all the outline. Afterwards, I will be explaining in detail. Okay? I think you already know about the product life cycle. Do you know? Yes.
How can we measure the product life cycle? Measure how?
You see, we are talking about the forecasting particularly. So, in the product life cycle, in the introductory stage, if you have the related product with you, then you have a data. If you do not have the related product, you do not have any data. Then you go with the competitor's detail and the expert opinion. That is subjective forecasting. So that is what I will be telling you after some time, that how in the different stages of product life cycle, how would you forecast well. Okay. So the strategic importance of forecasting. What is the strategic importance? You see, human resource also forecast. Very important. The students who are interested in going to the human resource field, very important for them that the forecasting is also done in the human resource. Because you need to know that how many laborers would you require, at what time. Very, very important. And that's what happens when you basically do the aggregate planning, sales and operation planning. So you always require resources to produce anything, to deliver the services. For example, the university is about to launch, Al-Kausar University. So they have to forecast the human resources. If they cannot forecast, they cannot hire the people. If they cannot hire the people, they cannot offer their services to the students. So it's mandatory for the human resource to closely forecast so that they can hire the resources and provide the services as per their publicity, as per their marketing. Capacity, when we talk about the capacity, it's very, very important. I just mentioned the energy crisis in our country. in which we are paying a very lofty prices. ठीक है ना? Very it's very difficult to pay by average citizen. It's very trouble time for us. So what happened? It was a bad capacity forecasting. What happened? The supplier of energy, they made a contract with the government, and government agreed and signed that no matter how much we purchase electricity from you, we will be paying you the fixed amount. We will be paying you fixed amount. Now because of the bad forecasting, they are unable to increase the demand. They were expected for example 4% demand, that is year on year 4% more demand. But what happened? The demand with the passage of time, demand decreased. When the demand decreased, they had to pay the exact price, fixed price. That's what they agreed before. So because of that, the energy price per unit is very much high, and people are paying more than 60 rupees per unit, more than that. And if we talk about the commercial, it is far more than that. So what I am trying to say, the capacity forecasting is very important, planning is very important, and if you wrongly forecast, it's a disaster. Supply chain management forecasting obviously is very important, because if you do not plan well, then how can you procure accordingly? If you cannot procure timely, then how can you deliver the product timely? I remember when I was in a company, I would not like to name it, the company. What happened once, they used to produce the shocks of a car, vehicle. So what happened once, they did not have the lubricant to manufacture the shocks, and the oil lubricant comes from the Britain. So what happened? They had to pay the 6 times more amount just to get the lubricant timely, so that they can produce the shocks. Why? Because of bad forecasting. They were unable to predict that there will be requiring that amount of lubricant. So customer can never wait, because you agreed with the customer that we will provide you. That is, you have to bear. That is, you have to bear. So that happens to many companies. They have to bear the cost. Okay, 7 steps. Now this is very important for a paper and might be for the quiz. 7 steps. 7 steps. 7 steps. These are the fundamental steps through which you proceed your forecasting. No forecasting can be proceeded without these 7 steps. These 7 steps are critically important. These 7 steps. Like 7 C's in communication, these are the 7 steps in forecasting. Note it down? Okay, move ahead. Yes. So, yes, when you talk about the approaches, it is basically, it is the qualitative methods and the quantitative methods. Qualitative methods and the quantitative method. Please keep note down, because if you don't note down, you cannot revise the lecture. You need some points to make yourself remember the lecture points. It is not necessary that you write these slides, but you have to keep noting down the points which I am telling you verbally. For example, I am telling you what is qualitative method. So you see qualitative, when we talk about the qualitative, what does it mean? Any idea? Quality, but actually there is no relation between quality and qualitative. There is no direct relationship. Good. It's about non-numeric thing. Yes. More? Anything else? Miss, आप बताएं. Theory based. ठीक है. Or anything else? What is qualitative? Expert judgment. ठीक है. ये आप कह रहे हैं qualitative है. ठीक है. Or anyone else? You see, when we talk about the qualitative, it means it is subjective. It is what Taimur thinks might be different than other things. Okay, why? Because there are different point of view. So when we include different point of view, we call it subjective. When there are different perspective, we call it qualitative. And in the qualitative, we do not include numbers, and we do not go in 1 or 2, 0, 1, we never call it. We call it abstract. Okay, you need to figure out, you need to find out, not with the numbers but with the words, with the expert opinion also. So we will be discussing about, I just introduced you with a qualitative word. The next is quantitative word.
Sir, numbers and calculations.
Yes, when we talk about quantitative, the thing comes in our mind is the thing which can be quantified. So the quantification is possible. Over here, the numbers are there and the quantification is possible. Yes.
In qualitative, you said that it is subjective, meaning it can be changed, but in quantitative, can you say that it's an objective?
Yes, very good. It can be called objective and it is called subjective. And I already mentioned subjective. It changes person to person, expert to expert. It changes.
For objective, yes. Objective is something different.
Something what? Something what?
Objective or objective are कैसे according to stats. Quantitative according to statistics. Objective कैसे?
What do you think the objective mean?
Objective तो आप किसी एक particular चीज़ पे आप बात कर रहे हैं ना?
ठीक है. अच्छा देखिए, इंटरेस्टिंग है. ये कह रही हैं कि ऑब्जेक्टिव जो है वो एक पर्टिकुलर थिंग पे बात करें. ठीक है. एक्चुअली हम जब बात करते हैं ऑब्जेक्टिव, हम कहते हैं वो बात जो कि मेजरेबल, पर्टिकुलर थिंग पे बात नहीं है. यहाँ मैं आई दैट इज़ वाई आई वांटेड टू नो कि व्हाट इज़ इन योर माइंड, बिकॉज व्हेन you have something different and I have some other opinion, so we cannot be on the same page. So you see, objective means something which can be measured. Okay, for example, I give you the objective questions in the exam, okay, and I just give you paper, and after that I will ask any other faculty that please check this paper. And if I have given the objective questions, then any faculty can measure it, any faculty, irrespective of its subject, Urdu, English, maths, finance, accounting, supply chain, marketing, media, whatever. Why? Because it can be measurable. I have defined it. I have defined its limit, and I said that whenever you get this answer, it means that. So when you make a statement that can be measured, so that is objective. ठीक है. अब बात क्लियर हुई सबको? Is it clear now that when we say that this statement can be measured, it means it is objective. Measured exactly. That also can be measured, interestingly, but not precisely. That is more precise. For example, if I ask you what is the definition of forecasting, and you answer the forecasting definition, and I ask any faculty, please check it out. What will happen? He may give good marks to few students and bad to many. Why? Because it is subjective. Whatever he thinks, he make it correct. Whatever he thinks wrong, he make it wrong. This is very important. So in quantitative we are cleared about the measurement. In qualitative we are not cleared. We are dependent upon the opinions, beliefs. Yes, next. Is it clear now? Okay. We are talking about, here we talk about the time series forecasting. Time series forecasting is basically the quantitative forecasting. Write it down. Tamur, back करना. हाँ, forward करो. Thank you. Time series forecasting is the Quantitative forecasting, very important. Quantitative. हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल सर शाबाश. Abdullah is on time and that is why he is very prompt. You see, your coming into the class shows your interest, and I am telling you, any lecturer or teacher can be biased with the one who comes late. No matter how matured and how competent the teacher is, but if you are late in the class, it shows your interest. I'm not talking about the incident when once you come late. I'm talking about the habitually late. So that shows your interest. You are not interested. And if you come after the teacher, that is also the same. So you have to come always before the teacher, so that it appeals to the teacher that this student is interested. Okay. Time series forecasting, when we are talking about the time series forecasting, decomposition of a time series is very important. What does that mean? It means you have to decompose time series. What does time series mean? Any idea?
Series of time.
Exactly. For example, when we say Jan, Feb, March, April, okay, onwards, December.
सर शॉर्ट टर्म, मीडियम टर्म और जो लॉन्ग टर्म होता है वो इसके अंदर ही आते हैं या इससे अलग?
Good question. There is no relation with the short, long and medium term. These are the quantitative method and it can be applied on any term. It depends upon the data you have. If you have the less data, you go with the naive approach. If you have more data, you go with the moving average. More data with the exponential. If you have most data, then you go with the trend and others. So it depends upon the data you have. So I am talking about the time series. So when we talk about the time series, it means that you have the different time stamp, different duration of the time, and through that you can learn about the data. For example, 40, 50, 60, 70, and that's how it goes in 100. So you see what we have learned. We have learned through the time series data that the sales, if it is sales is keep increasing with the passage of time. Every month it is a linear progression. So when we decompose the time series, we get to know it is linear. Linear means what? It is increasing in the same rate, almost same rate. So when we say linear, it's a linear progression, it means it is increasing with the same rate. So decomposition of a time series is very important. You get to know what kind of data you have. Okay, is it a trend? Either a trend, for example, trend will go like linear, it's a trend. Okay, trend could be like this, trend could be like this. Make the chart, very important. It is a trend, it is showing the trend. For example, we call it, it's a trendy. It is not in trend, it is not, we say it both ways. We say it is not in trend and it is in trend. Got it? Something which is adopted by many, it is in trend. Something is not adopted by many, it is not in fashion, not in vogue. So it is called non-trendy. It is called non-trendy. It is non-trendy. That is why it is progression in the negative direction. People are keep leaving that product, not using that. Okay? Up till now, any questions so far? Signal variation? Okay, when do you want to take the break? 15. Let's take a break for. Okay. So first of all, we need to see what is the data is telling you. So how can you get to know about the data? Any idea? Whenever you have a data, for example, you have an Excel sheet, Excel file. So how would you know about the data? Can you see the data through numbers? Acha. Okay. And if I say there are so many numbers, for example 10,000, can you tell about the data? About the data? Can you? How come? How come?
No, sir. Sir, in library data, you have to hire a data analyst.
Very good. If you cannot, then because of budget, you cannot. You see, you need to draw a graph for that to understand the data, to understand the trend, to understand the projection. So you see seasonal variations. What is the seasonal variation? For example, your product is.
So let's say product is clothing, we change every season, Bakra Eid, Ramadan, according to the season.
See, so it's a seasonal demand. This is a seasonal demand. In when we talk about the spices, the mixed spices, the recipes, Ishan food is on top, especially in our province. So what happens? Their forecasting says, their data says, their time series says that Shan Foods sales before their season, that is the Bakrid, is far more than any other month. 6 times more, use 6 times more than the common month. So that they have to plan. So they need to see that what is the variation in the data. If there is a very seasonal variation, then they have to plan accordingly. If there is cyclical variation, what is cyclical? It is not sick. It feels like it is sick, but it is not sick. It causes cyclical. It is called cyclical. Okay, when there is a cycle, it has come. This word as root word is cycle. So you see cyclical. So you need to see whether your product is in cyclical cycle or what. Ji? Cyclical product. For example, in a monthly buying of Imtiaz store, the biggest store of our country, retail store, we see its sales starts. This is the start of month, okay, and this is the end of month, and this is the middle of the month, 15th of every month. So that's how the purchasing. For example, your product is milk, and you provide milk to the superstore, Imtiaz superstore. What happens? They don't buy in the beginning. Their orders start coming up till 15, and after 15 they do not buy. They do not buy, and their sales is keep decreasing. So the cyclical can be of any kind. This is not about growth and maturity. This is a different thing. This is talking about the particular behavior. Okay? You see every month what happens same. Every month same things happen. Market behaves in the same manner. The cycle could be like this. For example, it can be like this. It can be like this because of the economical condition of the others. But it will be cyclical, same cyclical. That there's a peak, then there's a decline. There's a peak, then there's a decline. Got it? No? Who's the one? Do you want me to tell you again? जी बताऊंगा. जी, I have not started that. Yes. जी. Be loud. I cannot hear you.
and by the end of 51 further ऐसा demand करना चाहिए.
ठीक है, ऐसे यही बड़ी समझाया मैंने. ठीक है, I said the same thing that at Imtiaz store the demands start to peak and up till 15 of the month, every month it start declining. This is what I said. Okay. Okay. Next we talk about naive approach. This is the first approach we are talking about. That naive is, what do you mean by naive?
Unknown. Knife can also be used for something like gum.
Dumb. हाँ, सही. Naive is the one who is new. Who is new? Yes. Who is new? Who is not expert? Who is new? So when you see, yes, newbie. When you see naive approach, in the naive approach, you have a little data, you know little. For example, Jan. In the Jan of month, you have sales of 1,000 pieces. Okay. And in the Feb, you want to forecast. Since you do not have much data, so what would you do? You go with the naive approach, that is the same 1,000. You will forecast. Forecast equals to actual. Forecast equals to
previous month.
actual.
Sir, previous
Actual of previous month या year. There is no problem with a month and a year. See, you see, time series can be of any kind. It can be quarters. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, quarter 5, quarter 6. It can be like that. It can be in years. ठीक है? 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It can be in months. So in exam, the question can come in any way. It can be months, it can be quarter, it can be year, it can be years. So you see, in the naive approach, the last month actual is the next month forecast. Or I may write it like this: sales and the forecast. So it is the forecast of next month. Got it? The sales of the last month is the forecast of the next month. So when we talk about finding the forecast, the naive approach is the one in which we have the little data, and on the basis of the little data we forecast. Okay? And that is simple, very simple.
Sir, which one is the most frequent used method for forecasting? Some specific.
For that you need to learn all, then we can talk about it. There are many different topics we have. So it's early to talk about. For example, if I say exponential, so what does that mean? It means nothing to you until you know exponential. So let me tell you. Okay, moving average. When we talk about the moving average, what we say?
Sir, data हम raise कर रहे हैं.
जी मैं पूछ अच्छा जी Yes,
Whatever you are writing on the board is not the reason.
it is not. Okay, we talk about the moving average. We talk about the moving average. When we talk about the moving average, it is like that. You take the average of the last 3 months. Last 3 months. Okay, you take the average. What is the answer? Answer. 99? 99.9?
33.33.
We take 33. ठीक है? Okay, so you see we got this result. Okay, and this is 33 for this month forecasting. This is the forecasting of next month. Whatever we get with the average, it is the number for the next month forecasting.
Next month or for the next 3 months?
Next month.
नहीं sir, जो last
It is the last 3 months average. The answer is the next month forecasting. 33 is the forecasting number of the next month. That is the April. Okay, I am telling you again. Little concentration, please. We are talking about the May forecasting. That is 30, 50, 80. 30, 50, 80. What is the answer? This is the yes 53. Got it? ठीक है? So that's how we take out forecast. That is a moving average. Moving average means first take the last 3 one, then take the last 3 one, and you move up till wherever you want. So we moved. You see, we took the last 3, take out this one, and then last 3, take out this one. That's how it goes. For example, June and 120. So how many of the number we have to give for this? This one 50, 80, 100. 50, 80, 100. And average 50, 80, 100. Averages 76, 77. We take 77. ठीक है? So that's how we take out. Clear? Is it clear? I am telling you again. जी मिस, उससे wait करें. Okay. When we talk about the moving average, very simple. It's an average. First of all, it's an average. So recall yourself. It's an average. Moving means when you move ahead, the numbers you take average, they also move ahead. For example, you have taken the 3 numbers for this, and for this you have taken the last 3 numbers. For this you have taken the last 3 numbers. So as you move ahead, the averages is also moving. So that is why it is called moving average. That is why it is called. So after a break we will solve a question so that everyone knows and everyone has confidence to solve this question. Ji. Do you want break or not? Okay, I may tell you more since there are a few minutes. Acha, okay, I am not teaching you, I am just telling you. Weighted moving average is another one which is not written over here. Write it down. Weighted moving? Yes. So weighted moving average is another method. That is very, very interesting method because in that you give the weight to every series. For example, For example, I gave the weight to quizzes, I gave weight to the assignment, I gave weight to the final of yours. So you see, I gave different weight. For example, I gave 0.5 to final, I gave 0.4 to quizzes, I gave 0.1 to assignment. Got it? So that is what weighted means. That is what weighted. Yes. Any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You said this subject is more interesting, sir.
Yes.
It will be more easier for us if we drink a cup of tea or a tea. You take the food off.
Acha, okay. Time is not over. देख लें, पढ़ा नहीं रहा, देख लें, मैं भी देख लूँ. Should I rub it out? अच्छा भाई, there are